Hi, good morning. Welcome to this month's edition of Coffee with a Consultant. My name is Melanie Lambert. I am Managing Director of Just Right Grants, and we're a virtual grant writing company. I spent a lot of my career before Just Right Grants working with nonprofit organizations, helping them to raise money and to secure that money from foundation and corporate partners. And one of the biggest components of doing that is the site visit. So today we're going to talk about how to best prepare your nonprofit for a site visit. So what is a site visit? So a site visit is one of those things that kind of is a feather in your cap when you're in the middle of the grant writing process. And it means that the organization is interested enough in your proposal that they kind of want a little bit more, right? They want to take this relationship to the next level. So they want to come out to your organization and they want to learn more beyond what was in your proposal and to kind of see it in action, right? We had some of that stall a little bit with COVID, but it's starting to pick back up where foundations and grant administrators and board members at those foundations want to see what you do and to visualize it and to have sort of the experience of your nonprofit. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today, and I'm excited to have you join me here today. It is incredibly cold where I am in Northwest Georgia. We're hitting a cold snap here. I know most of the country is as well. So I hope you've got your hot coffee this morning. I do. I can't even, the idea of iced coffee. I love iced coffee, but the idea of it today is just like, adding insult to injury with how cold it is here. But I've got my hot coffee. I'd love if you would share with me in the comments what you brought with you today, where you're from, where you're joining me from today, and what the temperature is where you are. We'll play a little game. If you'll share with me where you're from and what your temperature is, and whoever comes in at the lowest, I'll send you a message and then send you a little gift just to help take the edge off of those temperatures a little bit. Here today, right now, we are at 28 degrees. We were in the low teens yesterday, and it sounds like we're going to be back there tomorrow, which is unheard of for us. So, but we're all bundled up, and the kids are going to school, and no threat of snow, much to their dismay. But yeah, just tell me where you are, what your temperature is, and then whoever's got that lowest number in the next couple days. Today's the 18th of January. Whoever's got that next that lowest number, either on the live call or in the next couple days watching it, I'll send you a little gift. So let's jump right in. So, you get the notification from the foundation that they're interested in a site visit, and you might be tempted to go from this elation, like excited about it, to this like sense of doom. Like, what do you do? How do you prepare for that? Especially if you've never experienced that before. It can be a little daunting and a little bit intimidating, but it's really not. If you're accustomed to having one-on-one meetings with individual donors, you've got most of this down pat, and you know what you're doing. It's not going to take anything, overly extravagant for you to make this presentation to these funders. So once the first step in the process, and this is kind of obvious, but the first step is you want to make sure that your location, wherever that happens to be, your office or where you provide your program work, is spick and span, that it looks as good as you can make it. Everything is clean and tidy, and just thinking about, you're having your best guests come over. You want to make sure that you present yourself in the best light possible. Obviously, if you're a small nonprofit and you're crammed into a small space, that the funder's going to see that, but present it in the best way that you can, and just don't have stuff laying around that you don't need to have laying around. And just make sure that, again, that you look your best, you put your best foot forward. Same thing as how you present yourself and your staff. You want your staff to know that this visit is happening. Staff or volunteers that are going to be there that day, make sure that they know it's happening. Make sure that they know this is a VIP situation, and to present themselves accordingly. And that's important, that your facility is clean, you've got a presentable environment, and you're ready for these very special guests. Sometimes the site visit is more formal. So you think presentation style, pitch kind of approach to a site visit. And sometimes it's more informal. I've been on both. I've been in one where it was very informal. The grant administrator came in jeans and tennis shoes and wanted to walk around and just kind of see it. And she took notes, and We just had a really casual kind of conversation. She asked questions, we asked questions. I'm jumping ahead a lot here, but it was a little bit more informal than, business suit, PowerPoint presentation, handouts, and things like that. So I always like to err on the side of being over prepared. It's easier to downsize than it is to build up in the moment. So to streamline it is a lot easier if they come in and want something casual and you've prepared for something more formal. So what you want to do first is gather all the necessary information about the proposal that you sent them, the program that you applied for, and any descriptions or budgets, impact statements, your case for support, any of that kind of collateral that you can share with the funder. You want to come into this anticipating that they're going to ask questions, right? You're not just going to be giving them a live version of your proposal. They're there because they want more information. So take a step back and think, what, if it were you, what would you ask? What would you want to know more of? And anticipate those questions so that you can be prepared for their answers. And then maybe even proactively answer those questions in your presentation. If you're doing a PowerPoint or a similar type presentation, that you can answer those in that and save them some time and might impress them that you were thinking ahead that way. No organization is perfect. No nonprofit is perfect. Despite what they may share on Facebook, they are not perfect. And a funder knows that. So be realistic with them in your presentation, in how you present the organization and your programs, and be honest about challenges and limitations that you have. That's going to help them see where your gaps are and where they may be able to come in and help you, because ultimately that's their goal, right? If they're invested in your mission, they want to help you. So if you present it like you don't need any help, it's hard for them to see where they fit into the relationship with you. And then showcase your passion and your commitment. You are in your role for a reason, whether that's founder or CEO or development director. You're passionate about what you do. Showcase that. Let them see that through real life examples of the work that you're doing. One of the ways to do that is if you've got a volunteer or a staff member who may have previously been a client of yours. That happens pretty often in smaller nonprofits. If that person can tell their story, share about how their life was changed through their interactions with you, that has a significant impact. And you're not going to be able to have that same level of passion as a paid employee as someone who actually experienced and went through the benefits of what your nonprofit provides. And then be ready to share some recent and some historical statistics. Data is important. It feels a little less like something you'd want to share in a presentation like this. But you want to be able to prove that what you do is necessary and that the impact you have is quantifiable. So you need to be able to demonstrate that, and you do that through data. So have that ready above and beyond what you shared in your proposal too. So you'll want to have an agenda for this meeting, and that's important because you want to be able to make the best use of their time while they're visiting with you. So you want to make sure that you have main objectives in that agenda. What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want them to leave knowing about your organization? And think about what's that memory moment you want them to walk away from your nonprofit with. If, and I talk to nonprofits about this all the time when we're drafting grant applications. What's the one thing? If you had 15 seconds to tell this funder one thing, what would you want them to know? So think about it in those terms, and you're going to come up with that memory moment that they're going to leave with by saying, oh, wow, this nonprofit does this, and I didn't know that. And take that back with them when they're making their assessments of whether or not you're going to continue to move forward in the grant awarding process. So you want to prioritize the timeline of your meeting. Let's say, we've had some where they're there for the whole day. Well, obviously the CEO is probably not going to be able to spend the whole day there in that meeting. But you as the development director may be able to do that. So should be able to do that. So you'll want to make sure that the CEO has some time reserved on that agenda, that he or she can speak to the grant administrator, whoever happens to be there for the site visit, and just have that planned out well, so it's not kind of, flying by the seat of your pants when they're in there. And then consider the time there. It may feel like, 15 minutes is a long time to talk. You may need 10 minutes, or, this is the CEO and he or she is really passionate, so we need 20. Think in terms of where's the best value for that time investment. And then plan some breaks. If it's a full day site visit, that's a long time. Plan in some lunch, or maybe plan the site visit over lunch. And then you can always plan in those coffee breaks. Those are my favorite. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to showcase a local coffee shop. Take a little break, walk away for a few minutes, change of scenery, have a different type of conversation with that individual about the organization. And just enjoy a little bit of a laid back few minutes to kind of reset before you go back into any more of those more formal meetings. When you're showcasing your mission to and talking to a funder, make sure that you're engaging with them. It's not just the presentation, not just you pushing that information out. When possible, show, don't tell. If there's opportunities for you to walk by a classroom where part of your program is happening, that's ideal. Let them see it in motion. Again, engaging a former client. If you've got, if you run a nonprofit daycare center, if they can walk by and see the kids, or some sort of engagement there, and ask them questions. Come into the meeting ready with your own questions, to where you look less as though, again, you're pushing out information to them and not engaging them, because you want to build a relationship. This is the prime opportunity for you to build a relationship. Think about it in terms of, before now, you've just been kind of online dating. It's just been sending emails back and forth and all words and typing. And now you're at the point where you're kind of on that first date, right? You're getting to know each other. You're putting human beings with those words. And it's an important part of that relationship to communicate. So you'll want to ask them questions. And some things you could ask could be, what are your priorities right now? What are you looking to support? And how does your organization want to make a difference in the world? And then that allows you to continue to build on that conversation by responding to their answer. If their answer is right in line with what you do, it's an opportunity for you to continue to promote that mission alignment. Ask about their process. Once the site visit is over, what are the next steps? And what's the timing of that? How do they like to be engaged after that point too? That's important, because funders typically, some funders, they're like, hey, here's the money, we're out, contact us when you need some more. Or they really want to be part of what you're doing. So this is an opportunity for you to find that out. Do they want to get invitations to events? Do they want to be on your annual report distribution list? Do they like to get calls quarterly with just some updates? So that's an opportunity for you to find that out and engage them, get their feedback. And again, not just pushing your information out to them. And then if you walk away from this presentation with nothing else today, I want this to be the one thing that is your memory moment for our Coffee with a Consultant this month. Send a thank you note. It is critically important. I have had foundation partners tell me that we got the grant because we sent a thank you note, and other funders did not. It's a simple thing. It takes 5 minutes. I even recommend something handwritten. If you would like to do a form letter, put, a letterhead letter style, business professional style, put a little handwritten note on there too. Whether it's a Post-it or just something written, in the white space. Always show that gratitude for them taking their time to come and see you. Be specific, put a personal greeting on there, address it to an individual that you met with at the site visit, and then mention standout points from the site visit. If you went to have coffee and you tried something new, just say maybe, something very casual like that of, I've gone back for that breakfast sandwich 3 times since then, or something that just recalls the actual event. And then express your gratitude. Tell them how thankful you are for their time that they invested in you, and that they support missions like yours, regardless of whether or not they're going to fund your request. And then highlight again that mission alignment. Kind of remind them, I continue to feel like we are a great fit for what your priorities are after you shared them with me when we were talking. I think we would be a great partner in this particular work. And then end your thank you letter with a call to action. One way to do that is, in my experience, is, first you can be very broad and just say, we look forward to hearing from you. But in my experience, I've had a lot of success with saying very specifically that I'm going to give them a call. They may have told me that timeline when I was engaging them, that, they've got 2 or 3 more site visits and they're looking to do the awarding, say, in the next month. And so, if you'd say, I'll follow up during the week of this date and make sure that lines up with what they told you as far as their process goes. And just say, I'd love to follow up with a call or an email on February 16th to chat with you further about the site visit and answer any additional questions you or the committee may have. And then that gives you another touch point with them. And they'll know that they can hear from you, and make good on that. Unless they tell you otherwise, make good on it so that they know that you're going to follow up. You're going to be that level of responsiveness that they, that you say that you're going to be. And that makes them feel good about investing in you. So these are just some of my experience as far as site visits go. They are exciting. Don't let them be daunting to you. It's a great opportunity for you to build a relationship with this funder, and they're rare. They're not something that happens every day for your organization. So it gives you a really great opportunity to highlight what you do in person. And again, think of it like a major donor visit, because it is, but just like if you were, touring your facility with your board chair. You'd want to put your best foot forward. You want to show your gratitude. You want to show why you are the best choice for them to fund. And if you do all those things well, you're going to come out of that hopefully with a funding partner, but at least someone that, can champion your mission potentially for other funders. So I would love to hear in the comments if you have experience with site visits, and if there's anything else that you would like to add that may be helpful for those of us that are new to site visits. And if you are interested in learning more about grant writing, if you're the grant writer yourself for your team, you're interested in learning more about how to craft those messages, how to develop budgets, more information about site visits, and all the different elements that go into a really comprehensive and robust grant writing strategy, I encourage you to check out our grant writing bootcamp. There's a QR code right there that you can click, and it'll take you right to our page all about our Grant Writing Bootcamp, which is a 6-part on-demand webinar series that goes through all the steps of writing a successful grant application and can take you from beginner to expert in just a few hours. We include in there 1 hour of consulting with me, as well as thousands of dollars worth of downloads, templates, samples, and other resources, including discount to GrantStation. And if you are working towards your CFRE, it's 6 CFRE continuing education points as well. So we're offering that at a really great introductory rate right now. And so let me know if you have any questions about that or about site visits. I love to talk shop. And so send me an email anytime, and I'm happy to chat through any specifics about your site visit that you want to go through that we might be able to brainstorm some ideas. So thank you so much for joining me today for our Coffee with a Consultant this month. And I hope you'll join me next month and keep in touch with us. Sign up for our e-newsletter at justwritegrants.com, and you'll get updates on events like this, our monthly book club, our grant writing bootcamp, and all kinds of fundraising resources we offer to help make your job easier. Thank you so much again for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again next month.